It is another edition of your agricultural biotechnology program, Agribiotech, when the focus is on the significance of biotechnology to agricultural development in Nigeria. I am Lara Afolayo. Stakeholders in the Nigerian biotechnology industry have met on intellectual property rights in agricultural biotechnology. We will be bringing you details of that in the course of today's program. The National Biosafety Management Agency, on its part, has worked with agencies relevant to its operations on validating its mainstreaming strategy. We will be seeing that development later on as the Director General of that agency, Rufus Ebegba, speaks with us on the strategy. And I'll bring you trending news on agricultural biotechnology around the world. The International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center says African countries should employ strategies at combating the fall armyworm. The center's portfolio manager, Monday Ahonsi, who made this known at a disaster risk management meeting in Tunis, says that the only sure method to deal with the pest is through genetic engineering. He added that though the Maize and Wheat Improvement Center have developed crop breeds that have offered some resistance to the worm, genetic engineering remains the best option. The fall armyworm was first discovered in South America. It was found for the first time in Africa in 2016 and has spread throughout sub-Saharan Africa. As millions of East African farmers seek to recover from a devastating drought, they face a new threat, which is the fall armyworm. The pest is suspected to have entered Kenya from Uganda. It is also known to be present in Burundi, Ethiopia, and Rwanda. Biotech firm Calyxt has completed the inaugural harvest of its high-fiber wheat product. It is described as the world's first gene-edited, consumer-focused wheat product. The high-fiber wheat product is already the seventh Calyxt product that has been deemed non-regulated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. CEO of Calyxt, Jim Blom, says the completion of these field trials for its fiber wheat is an important milestone as the company continues to advance towards the finish line in commercializing its first ever gene-edited wheat product for consumers. He added that most adults only consume about half of the recommended amount of fiber in their diet, but with this latest advancement, it was a step closer to developing a product with up to 3 times more dietary fiber than standard wheat flour, resulting in a healthier alternative for consumers. Operators in the Nigerian biotechnology space have met on intellectual property rights in agricultural biotechnology. Agribiotech was there. A workshop on intellectual property rights for agricultural biotechnology in Nigeria. The talks here center on how such rights can be developed for scientists and inventors in areas of genetic engineering, tissue culture, as well as systems and tools used in the genetic modification process.
In the Nigerian context, you can see that recently we developed conjunction with other scientists from outside the country 2 new varieties of BT cotton. Now, these 2 new varieties took a lot of time and effort and intellectual input. I mean, it simply makes sense that the property, intellectual property component of that should be protected. Otherwise, if it's not protected, then of course you could lose it to any other individual. We are also presently working on cowpea. Our scientists, in conjunction with scientists in Agribiotech, are also trying to develop BT cowpea, which will be resistant to maruca. Maruca is a major pest of cowpea.
Participants here are positive. The research works of scientists in the Nigerian agricultural biotechnology space can be fully protected with intellectual property rights in place for them.
Still hanging, we're not yet there. There's IPR in agricultural biotechnology is beginning to exist, at least with the kickoff of this workshop that we're having, this meeting that we're having now. we're trying to really go into it and make it happen in Nigeria, so that those breeders who work tirelessly, day and night, trying to invent, trying to innovate, trying to develop, carry translational research in this area, so that they'll be rewarded, all their efforts. It's actually about rewarding the efforts scientists have been putting in, breeders have been putting in, to come up with new varieties of crops that would be climate smart, crop that will be, drought tolerant, salt tolerant, nutritionally enhanced, and so on and so forth. So we're actually getting there.
Biotechnology is really at its beginning, but we need to think about it. To lay down some of the measures are to protect future developments when Nigerian biotechnology scientists will come up with new products. We do like the whole world is doing. We protect our products so that we will get the full economic benefits. So Nigerian scientists cannot work and other people reap the benefits. It got to be Nigeria reaping the benefit of the work of its scientists and the Nigerian universities and the research institutions too.
The intellectual property can be protected by intellectual property rights, and some of these rights include the patents. It includes patents, it includes trademarks, trade secrets, geographical indication. Those are some of them.
They believe a plant breeders bill will go a long way in effectively protecting the rights of scientists in areas of agricultural biotechnology.
These rights will be protected when we have a legislation in place. When there is a breeders bill, plant breeders bill, if that bill is being developed and sent to National Assembly, to actually be passed, and then Mr. President assenting to it, that would actually, that will work, very well. That's when we know that these are some of the practices that we put in place for that to stay, for IPR issues to really come to fruition in Nigeria. So we need an act that will protect the breeders that have been working on these crops, coming up with new varieties of crops, because you cannot invest in something, put in so much money, because there's so much money. It's all about research and development, translational research that would impact on the lives of people, on the lives of farmers. It will give power to the farmer, because the farmer is going to have access to quality seeds, to seeds that will give them 100% germination rate, 95% to 100, and also seeds that, of course, will give them high yielding seeds. So it's not an easy thing. It takes many years to come up with a new variety of crop.
The laws have to be in place, laws and the regulations to enforce the laws, because the laws alone do not mean much. Laws have to be enforced, isn't? And you got to have regulations going with law.
Even the varieties that are developing in the countries, there's a number of varieties that have been developed or released, and those varieties can be protected, because by protecting those kind of varieties, the breeders that are doing so, they will at least get a kind of incentive, and that will encourage the scientists to do more, to come up with a very good varieties that will also be beneficial both to the country and even be exported to other countries.
The thinking here is that the development will yield much economic benefits.
In Nigeria, we'll be able to export crops. We'll have that international competitiveness. Nigeria can be a key player in the global business of seeds, and so on and so forth. Our GDP will grow. Of course, agriculture, it will make agriculture the mainstay of the economy as it used to be. Nigeria will bounce back.
Look at the issue of intellectual property rights. In relation to agricultural biotechnology, we can say we are trying to come into it. Actually, it's not in place in the country. And there are so many things that we can, benefit that we can derive from if Nigeria joins other international communities who are already in it.
The protection of these rights will go a long way to contribute to the growth of the economy of Nigeria, because the government has made a lot of investments in promoting science and technology, and there are several technologies that have been developed and that exist all over the world that has the ability to contribute to economic development. So protecting the technologies or innovations or inventions that are developed within Nigeria will go a long way to improve the economy of Nigeria, because they have economic benefits. For example, if you are able to develop new varieties of plants or new methods or improved ways of doing things, and then you patent it, and then people need to come and pay to be able to use it, then it benefits the government.
This meeting is a collaborative effort of the National Biotechnology Development Agency and the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, ATF. On In Focus today, we see how the National Biosafety Management Agency is developing a strategy for better service delivery. Representatives of public institutions relevant to the National Biosafety Management Agency's operations reviewing the agency's mainstreaming strategy, a document that aims to boost the country's biosafety regime and inclusion into critical economic sectors. This meeting is to allow for improved collaboration and partnership amongst agencies connected one way or the other with the country's biosafety process for better service delivery.
It's a good thing what the agency, the National Biosafety Management Agency is doing, ensuring that, there's collaboration among all relevant stakeholders. And it's good in the sense that we all have different mandates to do different things, but there's a point of convergence where we need to work with each other. For my department at the Ministry of Agriculture, we deal with issues of animal health, and we also work with issues to protect the national herd. That's where we come in when you talk about biosafety. And as I've always said, animal health is really human health. So for us is to ensure that whatever is coming in or even going out, meets the standards. And our keen into this strategies to ensure that the standards are maintained, that we have guidelines, we know what we should do. Each agency knows, what they should do to ensure that the safety of the environment, our food safety, the health of animals and the biodiversity is protected and conserved.
Issues of environment is one of the emerging areas of customs interest. That's why Nigeria Customs Service have established a unit, just a baby unit of the customs called Environment Unit. The unit oversees, ensures that importations that may adversely affect the environment in a negative way, it's properly documented and in line with the other sister agencies. So this streamlining of Biosafety Act, it's like a step to further harness the existing relationship we have with customs. I'm sure you are aware that customs is in charge of, is like the national gatekeeper, in charge of the borders and all that. So our role will still be to ensure that whatever genetically modified organisms that are going to be imported into Nigeria is certified safe for both human health, environment, and for whatever purpose is intended for, is what it's used for.
Deploy this technology in agriculture, in medicine, in environment, and every other sector that is beneficial to mankind. Our stake here is that we expect to see increasing deployment of biotech. So there's the need for a strong biosafety institution in the country. The essence is just to ensure that whatever comes in or whatever is developed locally is used in such a way that it doesn't harm mankind or environment. That's basically the essence of this whole thing, and we're in the middle of it all.
NAFDAC being an agency that is charged with the responsibility to regulate and control the importation, exportation, manufacture, distribution, and sales of food, drug, chemical, cosmetics, and other regulated products, has a lot of role to play in the issue of genetically modified food. And because of that, the National Biosafety Management Agency, in realizing the importance of collaboration, has included NAFDAC in the board of directors. And again, NAFDAC is a member of the National Biosafety Committee, and this committee comprises of other MDAs, not only NAFDAC, including some academia, the professors from different Nigerian universities, to review documents and dossier that is submitted by an applicant who is willing to import genetically modified grains or food into the country. So we have a lot of role, and we believe there is need for us to have effective collaboration to ensure that genetically modified food is well regulated and to protect the interests of the populace in the country.
Okay. The mainstreaming strategy contains legislations and policies each MDA is concerned with, while linking it with biosafety operations to allow for improved interrelations amongst them.
City Council has to see to the effectiveness of this collaboration. The reason why this is so much important to us is that most of this food and other raw materials come from seeds, and in that case, we have to make sure that the seed that is coming in that are given to our farmers improve quality seed and affordable to the farmers.
Basically, an MOU has been signed between the two agencies, between National Biosafety Agency and NAFDAC. And each organization has a role to play there. And one of the major roles is for us to ensure that the genetically modified food is well regulated at the point of entry. And because of that, NAFDAC is trying to include in our guidelines an inclusion of certification of this gene of inserts from MBMA for whoever that is willing to import to the country. I think is to be a basic thing that we request for, to make sure that the applicant has passed through National Biosafety Management Agency before NAFDAC could grant marketing authorization for such products.
We've had series of trainings, with the National Biosafety Management Agency, and aside that, we also have on the site test kits that custom officers use. And to cap it all, Customs has a robust risk management approach that they use to detect, even without seeing even before conducting examination, with the risk management, the risk indicators is already telling you the areas, what to expect and what to channel. So because of that, you tend to channel your examination, towards these areas. You tend to try to confirm that, what the documentary assessments have shown. So our risk management tools are there. Some of our officers has also been trained. And periodically on our own, we organize trainings on our own for the frontline officers.
The Biosafety Management Agency has existing memoranda of understanding with agencies including the National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, the Agricultural Seeds Council, and the Standards Organization of Nigeria, amongst others, to effectively fulfill its mandate. Next, the Director General of the National Biosafety Management Agency, Rufus Ebegba, sheds more light on the biosafety strategy.
Yes, the mainstreaming strategy is a document which we have been developing over the months with the intention of trying to ensure that all relevant sectors of the country particularly the duties of other line ministries and agencies, are properly keyed into a biosafety system for synergy. So the mainstreaming basically is going to work in line with the National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan. The National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan is a document that really surveys the biodiversity status of Nigeria, and then how to ensure biodiversity conservation and sustainable use of biological resources. And this particular document contains various activities and responsibilities shared among relevant agencies and also levels of government. So the biosafety, the mainstreaming document is basically talking about how can all sectors of the economy key into the national biosafety system. And this also includes the other line ministries and agencies that we have signed memorandum of understanding with, what responsibility and roles are going to play at this time to make sure that there is a holistic biosafety for the country. The issues of biosafety are very, very important to ensure that the practice of modern biotechnology and the use of genetically modified organisms do not have any adverse impact on human health and the environment. So the mainstream is to really strengthen the biosafety system in the country. Yes, some of the ministries and the agencies that we have identified to play some major role, we have the Federal Ministry of Budget and Planning, Federal Ministry of Trade, Investment and Industry, Federal Ministry of Agriculture. We also have the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, Federal Ministry of Environment, where we have the National Biosafety Agency domiciled. Then we also have agencies like NAFDAC, Standard Organization of Nigeria, Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service, Nigerian Seed Council, Nigerian Agricultural Research Council, and the National Biotechnology Development Agency. We also, there are roles too for the various research institutes, particularly the ones that are agriculturally related. So it's an array of organizations, and even the members of the public also want them to be involved in the decision-making process in biosafety. The far-reaching impact is the area of consciousness, biosafety consciousness, and the reason again to also ensure the safety in the application of modern biotechnology and also the safety in the use of the products. If all these agencies get to be mainstream into the system, they will be conscious of the issues of biosafety so that we can be sure of whatever product that comes out of biotechnology are safe for human consumption and to the environment. It will also assist the country to achieve sustainable development, particularly in the agricultural sector, using safe biotech products.
Okay, so after the strategy's validation, what next?
Yes, the implementation will now be the next thing. We will now formally inform all the relevant ministries and agencies of their responsibilities as regards biosafety. And we'll now start also working out the modality of collaboration for effectiveness in the strategy, in the use of the strategy. Yes, the critics will continue to be there because some of them do this criticism for livelihood, and we will not stop them from living their lives. But believing, we advise that they should be factual. They should avoid the situation whereby they just want to vilify an organization because of their vested interest. And I've said this severally. There's a trade war going on, and the agency is not interested in such trade war. We will continue to do our mandate by ensuring that the product is safe for Nigerians, and the various research institutes and other partners do their duty under our guidance for safety. So the critics, if they are objective, they should come to the agency to see what we are doing. They are not ready to come and see what we are doing, or they are interested in it to vilify the agency, where their interests should not be above national interest. We see that with all sense of modesty, the National Biosafety Management Agency is just about 3.5 years old. And the issues of GMO, genetically modified organisms, have never been at the fore for national discourse. But with the establishment of the agency, we have been able to create this consciousness, and with the strength of the facilities we have, our GM lab, and the crop of various scientists we have as our staff, we are prepared to ensure that it's only the safe products that will not have any adverse impact on human health and the environment will be released. We are here to ensure that that is achieved while the technology drives the economy. We will not allow anything that is not safe. We will not also compromise in our mandates. We will ensure that Nigerians are protected from any potential adverse impact of genetically modified organisms. Our responsibility is to ensure that nothing unsafe will be allowed into the environment for planting, for consumption, or for any purpose. Even the practice itself will regulate it.
On feedback, I take this email from Okwe Ajishafe, who wrote in from Ekiti. He says he is interested in genetically modified seeds and wants more information on where they can be purchased. Let's take a look at the Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology, OFAB's response to that inquiry. And this brings us to the end of today's program. Send us your emails at agribiotech1@yahoo.com. Send us tweets at agribiotech13 or post comments on the Facebook page Agribiotech on TVC. I am Lara Folayo. See you same time next week.